Okay, I want to welcome everyone to our session today, Admin Built Apps, How to Become a Hero. My name is Nancy Michaelian. I'm a Customer Success Manager here at Salesforce.com, and I'm joined today by two of our customer heroes, Scott Rames from Dimension Data and Susan Gingrich from ReadyTalk. I'm sure you've seen this statement, our safe harbor statement, a few times already today. We are a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol CRM. If you'd like more information on our safe harbor statement, you can please visit our corporate website. So the main focus of our session today is to empower you as administrators to build on the Force.com platform. So whether or not you know it, you all have the skills to become a hero as administrators, and we're going to share with you through some of our customer speakers today how you can become a hero. So we'll start off talking about how everyone can become a hero and pushing beyond the Sales Cloud and the Service Cloud into the Custom Cloud. And then we'll get into the Force.com platform and talk about cloud computing, how you can create powerful applications with clicks, not code, and really looking at our platform as the foundation to your success. Once again, I'm joined by two of our customer heroes, Scott Rames and Susan Gingrich, who will be sharing their successes with us in just a bit on the platform today. Like many of our sessions, you are probably going to have a ton of questions, so we'll leave about 10 minutes at the end of our presentation for all Q&A, so please hold those questions. So what makes a Salesforce.com hero? Now today, as I had said earlier, many of you are probably using Salesforce and using our platform for the Sales Cloud and the Service Cloud, but we really want you to begin thinking about the Custom Cloud. And Salesforce heroes are forward thinkers. They're thinking about the custom clouds and what additional data and information that's not traditional CRM that can be managed inside Salesforce.com. Heroes leverage what they know and what they already have for the good of their organizations. They understand business needs, and they're really focused on building the right solutions for the right users. And the payoff is quick. Applications are fast, they're scalable, they're safe, and they're easy to build, and they're inexpensive. And of course, no programming skills are required or needed, and that's really the focus of our session today, is you can build very powerful applications without code, but just using clicks. So much like Wonder Woman needed her golden lasso of truth, that was kind of her tool, as administrators, you need the tools and the right skills to be successful. And you have those tools and skills. You've created a data model. You've toyed around with our org-wide defaults. You've created sharing rules. You've created custom fields, page layouts, maybe record types. You've strengthen business processes and enforce business processes with our workflow and approvals, maybe even validation. And with the reporting and dashboards, you're able to get the metrics that your company needs to be successful. And what we want to do is take those basic admin skills to that next level. Now, of course, heroes, or whether you're a superhero or a Salesforce hero, you need some place to kind of build and play on. And we've given you that, and that is the Force.com platform, which is a very powerful platform. Now, you've been listening to a lot of this notions of cloud computing. Hopefully everybody in the room here knows what cloud computing is, but really the Force.com platform is the leading on-demand cloud computing platform in which you can build and run your business applications. And our customers have found that there are many benefits to building on our platform. It's easy and intuitive. If you can point and click, you can build an application. It's secure and it's scalable. Our customers, I think these numbers might have changed, but our customers, we power over 60,000 customers who have built over 1,000 or 100,000 plus applications. And applications are cost effective. You don't need any IT infrastructure to run and build any of these applications. Now, you might be wondering, well, where should I start? And I always recommend focusing on data that's non-CRM data. So what might you be managing in an Excel spreadsheet today? Maybe it's personal time off or recruiting efforts or volunteer efforts. You can take that information that you're managing in Excel and build a home for it in Salesforce by creating custom objects and creating that custom object to manage that data and information. So you're all administrators, which is the first start, and you've got your toolkit. You've got the platform for the Salesforce.com platform to build on, and now we're going to hear from our first customer speaker, Susan Gingrich from ReadyTalk, who's going to share with us how she was able to build additional applications to extend her sales and marketing group. Susan?
Thanks, Nancy. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Susan Gingrich, and I work at ReadyTalk. We're a Denver-based company. We are an audio and web conferencing provider. Today, we have just over 5,000 customers and about 35,000 end users and growing. ReadyTalk has been named one of Colorado's best companies to work for the last 3 years running, so we're very proud of that. Just to give you a little bit more about, background about ReadyTalk and how we leverage Salesforce. We have a diverse customer base with a range of industries from business and financial services, nonprofits, government, healthcare. We host over 1,000 web conferences each day. Our customer care team currently receives over 200 support calls, so cases are very important to what we do. We're logging about 2,500 cases each month. And right now, we're adding over 1,000 new customers every month as well. So where we started in terms of Salesforce, we rolled Salesforce out about 2 years ago in December of 2007 to approximately 25 users. Since that time, we've added over 40 users, and our company has doubled in size. As many of you with our initial implementation, we use Salesforce primarily in the sales and service clouds. We had some great customization within those areas and some good integration, but our focus was narrow. I joined the company approximately a year ago with the goal of furthering our customization in those areas and then building out our CRM throughout the organization. My challenge, well, I needed to engage other departments within the organization. We wanted to improve our communications between departments and eliminate those data silos that we all have with the different folders and information sort of spread out throughout the organization. Leveraging the Salesforce platform was the simplest way and easiest way and most obvious way to get this data where it needed to be and take these processes to the next level. So where we started, custom objects and applications. I am not a coder like many of you, so no code, no long release time. Didn't need to engage our development team. We were able to get applications up and running very quickly, sometimes in a matter of days. So today, I'm going to talk about 3 specific areas where we were able to leverage the Force.com platform for data that was otherwise living outside of Salesforce. The first, product marketing, then customer retention, and then something not necessarily related to core business process as our charitable contributions. So the first I'm going to talk about is our product marketing and beta customers. As an audio and web conferencing company, beta customers are very important to our business. Like Salesforce, we do 2 to 3 different releases each year, product enhancements and that kind of thing. And our customers are very engaged in that. They may raise their hand and say, it would be great if we had this, or we may reach out to those customers and say, would you be willing, based on your current usage, to be part of our beta group? So, obviously this data was in spreadsheets over years worth of information. I think I received 7 Excel spreadsheets when we started this process. And we didn't have great communication between the departments. So, our product marketing team may receive a request, and then the support team wouldn't know that that person was engaged in the beta process. So, we just built a very simple custom object, and you can see we've just got 6 custom fields here. The 2 that are most important are just the link to a lookup field to the contact, and then a lookup field to the account associated to that contact. And then we just did a simple drop down for product type, and then dates. The key with this was we really wanted to just start getting this information into Salesforce And by creating this, it's very easy to scale it. So down the road, if we wanted to start incorporating survey information and that kind of thing, it was very easy to do. So again, we needed something simple and scalable, linked to both the contact and account. We did have some email workflow associated with it to improve, again, that communication between departments. And then just some custom views and reports so that information was at the fingertips of that product marketing team. Here you can see just at the account level a roll-up of beta customers associated with that account and when they used our services in that beta. The next object I'm going to discuss is for our customer retention team, and this is something that all of you, I'm sure, are familiar with, referral requests. So leveraging the database, we're able to see today that about 50% of our new business comes in from referrals, but we had no formal process for managing requests from RFPs and that kind of thing for customers that would ask for that information. So again, with the start of that team, we had a lot of stuff in spreadsheets, who is approved at this time, who's not approved, what industry are they working for, that kind of thing. So again, we just needed something very easy to manage and easy to scale. So this was actually a little bit more. We built a custom application with 3 objects. One for the actual referral themselves, again, linked to their contact record in Salesforce. Then customer references, so our prospect accounts that were requesting that information. And then lastly, referral gifts. So, by having that information in Salesforce, we're able to see what business is coming in as a result of this person acting as a referral and tracking any gifts that we might send them. It'd be kind of embarrassing if we're sending the same person a hat every 3 months or something. So having it in Salesforce was really easy for us to look. And here you can see this is just a roll-up of one individual who has acted as a referral on our behalf and how we've linked the different objects together. So this is one individual. We have just a few custom fields, checkbox, who it was approved by within our organization, and then gifts that that individual has received that we've sent to them, as well as the customers that they've referenced. So with these 2 objects, we really, the results were actually very positive. We were able to get that organization-wide visibility that we really needed. And having the data linked to the contact and account records in Salesforce, what it really did was we were able to leverage what we already had in the system in terms of industry, company size. So we knew that we were reaching out to the right people to get those referrals. And okay, we have a lot of beta customers in this industry, but we need some here, or based on usage, that kind of thing. Data that was already in our system just helped to enhance that. And then, of course, with the great power of workflow rules and email notifications, we were able to automate a lot of that process instead of sending emails back and forth, like, can this person test now or later, or that kind of thing. So the last application I'm going to talk about today is for, it's, like I said, really outside of our business process, but Salesforce was sort of the obvious choice for building that, and this was a really fun project for me. I'm part of the Charitable Contributions Committee. Philanthropy is really one of the very core values at ReadyTalk. As a company, they do employee matching for nonprofits that we donate to, and they also give us PTO for volunteering. So this was a really fun application for me to build. Again, we had really no data aggregation at all. Everything was sort of tracked in spreadsheets. This employee gave $50 to this company, that kind of thing. And we really had no clear vision of where we were. Where were we donating our funds? Where was the company donating money? And what categories were we sending our funds to? So again, easy to manage, easy to scale. And then the dashboards were sort of gave it that final punch. So again, 3 simple custom objects that we built. This is a roll-up of just an employee, and you can see it's 3 simple fields. Employee name, are they a current employee, and then department is just a pick list. Then there was a separate tab for donations, and we had a handful of fields there. What was the amount, date, and then each of these are linked to each other. So then we have a separate custom object that we built for the nonprofit as well. Here's a view of that object, and you can see if philanthropy is big at your organization, you know, the tax ID is always something that accounting is always asking for. So we've got some really good key fields here for work, if we wanted to work with these people in the future. You know, who is the key contact, the phone number, and then the nonprofit category was really what helped us really start to understand where our dollars were going. So you can see here is an example of a nonprofit, and because it's linked to the donations, we have the roll-up at that level as well. And then this is what really got the executives on board, was the dashboard, of course. So now at our fingertips, we're able to see, you know, how much are we giving? How can we push that back out to our employees and say, hey, this money is still available? You can see the categories that we're donating to. So is that in line with our mission in terms of where we're donating? And then another part of the committee is that the company itself also makes donations. So we're able to see, in terms of percentages, where the ReadyTalk dollars are going compared to where the employee dollars are going. And our committee just loved this because they just couldn't believe that we could build something this simple and an application that they're already using every day. So the interface, it was not, they didn't need to relearn anything. So for this, yeah, we were able to dramatically improve the way we collect that data, increase efficiency, and really give our committee access to the information that they needed to help this effort grow. Allow the committee to be scalable, tracking, and as we grow our efforts in the future, the application, again, can grow as well. And the dashboards, of course, give that overall view of where we are. For this particular one, we do have some next steps. Next year, we're going to build out additional custom objects to track our volunteer hours and volunteer opportunities, and then begin starting to create some workflow, just communications between the employees and, say, our accounting department. Send a quick email that a new donation match is needed, that kind of thing. So some key takeaways, I would say, as administrators, you know, think outside the box. You know, anytime I see a spreadsheet, my immediate thought goes to Salesforce, and is there a better way we can do this? Know your requirements up front, and gather feedback from all interested parties. This is sort of an obvious one, but sometimes there's interested parties out there that you might not be aware of right up front, and it's always good to get that buy-in from multiple departments. Keep it simple. You know, as you saw with some of mine, you know, 4 or 5 fields can have a really big impact. And then make the information easy to get to. You know, I think as administrators we get caught down into, oh, we can just create a field for that, but you really have to push that out to your users so they see the value in it as well. And then, of course, utilize workflow whenever you can, if you can automate it. And that's all I had for today, so I'll introduce Scott Rains from Dimension Data.
Excellent. Thank you, Susan. So before I get started, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Dimension Data and who we are and what we're all about, but I'm curious about yourselves real quick. So we're in an administrator's track, intermediate level. How many people have created a custom field in Salesforce? Okay, just about everyone. How about custom object? Okay, so we've got a lot of experienced users here that have seen custom objects before, custom fields, how they're played out a little bit. What I want to do in the next short bit of time we have together is I want to run through how we were able to use that capability to address a real business need at Dimension Data. Now, as we take a look at Dimension Data, we're a rather large company that no one's ever heard of in the U.S. Many of you probably work with us in several ways. We'll see that in a statistic coming up. We've got about 11,000 employees. We are recognized in our industry for what we do. We plan, build, support, manage network infrastructures. We are headquartered in Johannesburg, South Africa. Yet 74% of the global Fortune 100 work for us, quite a significant portion of the overall Fortune 500, and we are a very significant Cisco and Microsoft partner globally. Here's why you may not have heard of us. In the Americas, just under 900 employees. As you take a look around the rest of the world, we'll see that we often have quite a larger employment base outside of the U.S., in fact, 4,500 people in Africa. So we're a rather large company globally, not just in a single geography. Over the course of our company's 26-year existence, we're doing quite a bit in the converged communication space. We'll see interesting statistics like we're managing over 1.5 petabytes of storage. We're facilitating over 6 billion of our clients' conversations every year. Now, as we take a look at this, we're doing converged communications, network integration, security. We're doing a lot of different lines of business, but we have the same sales guys selling to that entire base. What that's led to is a very complex sales model. Each of these lines of business has overlapping product families, extended sales teams, the diverse geographies. It's a bit of a challenge that we've got here. Now, opportunity qualification is essential. Many of you work in sales organizations where pre-sales resources, engineers, those really smart techies are tough to get into the sales call because they're utilized at like 80% rates, especially in a tough economy. So we want to make sure that we've qualified the deal. As well, we want to engage a sales coaching model. If any of you work with the Sales Executive Council or the Corporate Executive Board, Dimension Data has learned from them that sales coaching is key. And part of that is the conversation you drive. So what we decided is we needed a qualifier inside of Salesforce.com. First off, Salesforce.com it's already the tool that the AMs are engaged with. They log on to it 14 times a week or something like that. They're in the system on a consistent, regular basis. Management sees the stuff, tremendously flexible application. We know this stuff, and we're looking for clicks, not code. Key aspect is we worked with the business to define the requirements and understand their questions. So we said new custom objects, the right answer. So let's create something new. Some thoughts that went into it. It needed to be a master detail relationship to the opportunity. We don't want to just add more fields to the opportunity because then it gets long, confusing. This is an extra step. It also separated us from reporting, and not every opportunity needed qualification. We could also focus the questions, the record types, on particular lines of business. And finally, we wanted a formal approvals process. So we ended up with this qualifier. Now, the presentation, as I understand, will be available online afterwards. So you're not going to read this in the back row. I do apologize for that a little bit. What we see on the qualifier in the top section is basic opportunity detail. We then move to a series of questions that we ask. And we see expanded here one section where it says, does the client have the latitude to procure without a budget approval? So we ask a series of questions. And then at the bottom we have an approval section. One of the things that we've done here is we use page layouts to drive different processes driven by record types. So the account manager will select a network integration record type. That will change the page layout. The next thing is it's a little trick. So we're immediate administrators in the room. Sometimes you know things. So one of the things we wanted to do is kind of have a question, answer metaphor. So what we said is a great way to solve that problem is going to be with read-only fields. So as an administrator or regular user of the system, those fields on the left are regular drop-downs. Make it a read-only field. For the account managers, it's now much more straightforward. Almost like inline help, but this is on the screen. You don't have to hover. You don't have to look at something. It's immediately there. Next thing I want to do, and if the demo gods are on my side here, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a live demo here. We'll cover some simple formulas, some embedded graphics, and some approval workflows. There's a link that you're not going to have the time to write down, but the link is to, let's see if we can click on it here. a great site, one of many great sites that Salesforce has made available to us, where we can, it is opening, where through the community site, tips, helpful guides. This particular one is being started with image fields, and we'll see here ways to embed graphics into your opportunity or qualifier that can be engaging. So let's go ahead and do the demonstration. Oops. There we go. And you'll forgive if I'm behind the podium here a little bit as we do this, but what we are looking at here is a custom object in the system. And the custom object we're looking at is an object that we're calling the opportunity qualifier. Now in this custom object, I want to do three things here together with you. The first one's going to be a fairly straightforward field. It's going to be a lookup field to the master object. So all I'm going to do here is go into new, and it's going to be a formula field. Now our formula field, we're going to go ahead and name this opportunity probability. Now the reason that I'm putting this field on here as a formula field, as a reference field, is because I do not want the account manager to re-enter the same information twice. That's inevitably going to lead to a problem where the opportunity says 20%, the qualifier says 30%, and then there's a confusion or a debate about which percentage is correct. So what we'll do here is we're going to go ahead and make this a percentage field. 0, next. And all you really have to do, it's very straightforward, is go to Insert. The opportunity qualifier we'll see listed here on the left, and all of the opportunity qualifier fields are here. The really neat thing, if you haven't discovered this, is your master object is related to it. So all you have to do is double click on your related opportunity, scroll down through this list to your probability. There we go. Select it. It will say you have selected the right field here. I'm going to click Insert, Next. Now we've seen custom fields before, most of us have, and so I'm just going to go ahead and allow that to be a visible field for everyone, and I'm not going to add to our page layouts right away. So that's our one field, one done. So hopefully some of you may find that useful where you can link those other objects right to. You can go multiple levels up, so I could have browsed to the opportunity account if I'd wanted to, or even fields on the user record. So if you've got someone in a particular role, you could browse to that user of the owner of the opportunity or the account, and there's some really neat things you can do with lookups. So our next one I want to take a look at here is, we're going to put a little bit of a workflow into this. We want people to approve it. Now one of the things that we want to do in that approval is record when the submission was done. So we're going to create a formula here. And this time I'm going to do a date formula. We'll go ahead and call it submission date. And allow it to automatically populate the field name, hit next. Now many of you are already familiar with all the formulas that are in Excel. I don't know how it averages out, but I probably spend a good half of my week inside Excel, even with all the stuff we're doing inside of Salesforce. So we know Excel. We've taken courses on Excel. We know how to do basic formulas, sums, that type of thing. The really great thing about Salesforce is that all of those formulas that you wanted to have inside of Excel are still available to you in these formulas. This isn't .NET code. This isn't Java. This isn't real complex code. These are no more complicated than the same formulas you're going to find in Excel on a regular basis. Now in this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and populate this as now. There we go. We will go ahead and let me check this. There we go. Next. And next. And we've added this field on here. So that's pretty straightforward. and the third field. Now, the third field is something that a lot of people overlook. So we've got the ability, and we saw it at the keynote, the ability to put Google Maps in there and rich media inside of the opportunity or pages. A lot of people are visual. They like little visual cues, visual reminders, quick ways to see things. Now, what we'll do here is a third formula field. And we're going to call this one Opportunity Potential. There we go. Now, this particular one, since I'm putting a little bit of HTML in there, is text. HTML is, of course, a text language or text format. And what I'm going to do is put in a little bit of a if-then formula. Now, it's pasted in there. Again, I apologize for the back row. It will be a little bit difficult to read. What we're basically going to look at here, and I already see that it's not right, so I'm going to correct this real quick. Yeah, that's not right. Pardon me. There you go. Control C. Okay. The little bit of text I'm putting in here was missing the if in front. But we're pasting a bit of formula that, like I said, many of you may have seen in Excel already. So we're basically saying if the overall qualification percentage is greater than 79.4%, so 75, put the green image in. If it's not, we have the comma. The overall percentage demo is above 59.4%, put the yellow symbol in, otherwise use red. That's as complicated as the formula is. Hit next. Next. And that's our last field. So we've added our 3 fields. Our next step here is going to be go down the custom object that we've created. And what I want to look for are our page layouts. And in this particular case, we have 3 because I'm driving it by record type. So I'm going to go to network integration here. And I'm going to go to these 3 fields that we've added. So the opportunity potential. There we go. Opportunity probability. I actually called. Oh, there it is. It is right. Opportunity potential. We'll take that. Scroll that down a little bit. We'll put it right here on the page. Our opportunity probability that we created, we'll put that right next to our stage so it's visible. And then our last one is going to be the submission date that we'll put up top. Save our page layout. Now when I go to my opportunity qualifier, I can take a look at my network integration qualifier here. I can answer my questions, yes, no, unknown is an allowed answer. We'll go ahead and save that. We have our opportunity potential, which is our traffic light right here. So we see a little visual representation. We see our submission date is automatically populated, and we see the opportunity probability, although it's 0 in this particular case, does copy over. And the neat thing, and in fact, let's go ahead and do that. If I click on the related opportunity, I can go to that, and let's go ahead and change our probability. And we'll change this one to proposal. Save. And let's go ahead and take a look at that opportunity qualifier a second time. And we find our opportunity probability has automatically updated without the account manager putting in something different or maybe leaving it at 0. Okay, the final step, before I go back to the presentation, just want to show the capability. Finally, what we want to do is have the account manager submit for approval. So at the bottom here, we see no approval history. If you have not already taken a look at the capabilities for approvals and workflows, they are really great in the freedom that they give you to build those business processes and support your business. As we take a look at the approval processes, this particular one has an opportunity qualifier process What I'm going to do is go ahead and go back into it, do a submit for approval. In our particular case, we want the account manager to actually select who the approver is. That way they can put their mentor in, they can put someone else in for review. We'll go ahead and type in the person's name. That's a neat trick. Send to next approver. Into the cloud. And we now have it as an approval request that's open for review. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's next. Certainly, once you have it on, measuring is critical. Number of fields created, records created, approvals pending. You can measure all of that now. As you use the platform to create your dashboards, views, and alerts, you'll notice that the graphics are included in your reports. If you've not noticed that before, it's another nice feature. So with that, Nancy,
Thank you.
wrap up.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Susan, for sharing your successes with us in the cloud. Before we take questions, I just want to go over a few takeaways. If you don't leave anything with this session, please remember these 5 key takeaways. You can be a hero without code. Both Scott and Susan did show us that you don't need to be a developer. Don't be afraid of technology. If you know how to do those basic admin skills and clicks, you can run your business in the cloud very easily. Focus your creative efforts on solving business needs. And remember that our platform, the Force.com platform, is faster, it's cheaper, and it's easier than using traditional software platforms. You've probably heard this a million times, but it is 5 times faster at half the cost to actually build custom applications. And use your resources. One thing at Salesforce, I've been here for 9 years. We never had resources, and I actually don't know of any company that gives their customers the tools and the resources to be successful. So remember not to deploy in your production org. Take advantage of the sandbox and use that as a place to test and play with some of your ideas. Use the community. If you're not familiar with SuccessForce.com, or I think we're now calling it CommunityForce.com, go to the community and see what resources are out there. You can browse by role, you can search. Presentations from Dreamforce will be out there, as well as presentations from past Dreamforces, online trainings. It's all out there on the community, as are the local user groups. Is anyone out there involved in their local user groups in their community? Great. So we've got about 15 user groups, actually globally, or actually in the States about 15. But they are groups that meet independently of Salesforce.com every 2 months or so. And it's like a mini Dreamforce. Obviously the scale is much smaller, but they're talking about issues and problems and challenges, and they're sharing their successes with one another. So another great resource and venue. And the last point is really, as Susan and Scott both showed us, heroes aren't born. You have to want to be a Salesforce.com hero at your organization. And again, we've given you the tools that you need, and you have the tools and the skills that you need. So we encourage you to leave today and leave the session, or rather leave Dreamforce with lots of good ideas on how you can extend your CRM into the cloud. All righty, so we will go ahead and take questions. Please don't forget to fill out the online survey. You can win an iPod Nano. I'm sure you already know that from the past couple of sessions you sat in on. And thank you for joining us if you're leaving. Otherwise, I'd like to take questions from the audience for Scott and Susan. Yes? Do you want to come up to the microphone? Thank you.
The code that you just put up there for the HTML, is that going to be on the presentation as well?
I'm sorry?
The code that you put in there for the HTML?
Yep.
The if-then, is that in the presentation?
That is, that's in the slide deck, so it's available. It's also in that that reference, a PDF document that there's a link for. It's really great. Very simple, basic stuff, stoplights, little red flags, that sort of thing.
It's a great idea.
And it's basically an if formula with an image insert.
Right. Beautiful.
Other questions?
All right, thank you everyone for joining us. Oh, sorry.
And where are those image inserts? Are the images, do you have to upload your own images, or are those stock images? Like it's the stoplights and the flags.
It is stock, and in that document, I think it's called the 101 Formulas.
Yes.
You can go out to SuccessForce, or you can go to our online help and training in the upper right-hand corner and search 101 Formulas. In addition, our presentation will be available online, and a link to that resource is in the presentation.
Yeah, one thing that I have found is if you do put any images inside of that, your best bet to avoid any pop-ups to say you're taking an image from an external site or something like that, because you don't know what the user may have configured in their browser. If you put it in a documents folder in Salesforce, you know they're in the system, you know they have access to it. It's a guaranteed at that point. You can link to any site on your intranet or anywhere you've got, but if it's in the documents folder and like a flag, you just make it visible to everyone. It's easy. You don't have any security pop-ups at all. Other questions?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of Dreamforce.